Alright, welcome back once again, reblurr gamers, and I'm just going to shuffle all these forward, which hopefully you can see. But there we go, there's the rest of the drones. Have had the masking tape taken off there. Bases, which means that now we can start getting into the known oil again. I'm just going to set them all up out of the way so I can pick them up one at a time and go through the wash, getting that known oil on there before I start working on the rest of the model. So just give me a second to get them all out of my way, because there is a few. What do we got there? Well, there is 18 more drones to known oil. We've done 5 and we've got 18 to go. So let's keep ripping into it. No point messing about per se. Get in here and just get this on as quickly as we can, and that way, we can keep going. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, finally the move is all done. I'm in the new studio. It's just another office. Orientation is obviously a different setup. I have the window on my left hand side now. Nice big ass window to help let in extra light, which today has been pretty good. Nice and warm, actually. It's nice. It's double glazed, so it's probably reducing some of the glare as well as some of the heat that is coming in. But yeah, overall, happy with the new house. It's really nice. Everything is coming together. We've had some bits and pieces done. But yeah, all in all, I'm glad to be able to be back painting again. I will say the hiatus of not painting was a little frustrating. But it is what it is. It's what happens when you move house. You've got to put things on the back burner. And unfortunately, it was at a very unfortunate time that when I started doing the challenge, and I probably, to be honest, would have preferred had I been able to get all these guys primed before we moved. Like, there's probably another 10 to 15 drones that are yet to be primed or in a position where they can be primed, so possibly not even built. It would have been nice to have been able to get them all done, like a big whack of them, while probably doing my head in slightly, to be honest, would have also been quite useful, because then it's all done. Less stress. I'm not worried about like, oh, I've got 10 drones I've got to paint, or I've got 15 drones I still haven't yet to do anything with. Like, I've got to do all these things with them, but I'm not getting it done. So while it was, it is a little bit annoying that I didn't get it done when I wanted it to. Look, all in all, it will happen. Probably now won't get to the 100. I definitely will try my best to push myself there. Given that hobby desk is now set up, everything's in place. I've got another couple of days, at least another day, half a day coming up soon where I can record again as well while I paint. Today at least I have gotten some stuff that I have finished physically, finished on video, so at least it's done. There is new videos going to come out now because I've definitely recorded a few short ones, which is a bit of a godsend in itself, because it makes things a touch easier also when you've got all the ability just to upload flat out. Like I can kind of get some stuff done, and I guess the plan is in a few weeks' time, when I've got a big block of time off, I will record as much as I can, and probably get the laptop out, transfer all of the videos across, so that I'm not really filling up my phone per se, because that's what I use to record with, because I have not bothered to, well, actually I found my digital camera just recently, so I wonder whether I can record off that, and then plug that into the laptop and transfer the recordings from it, or whether I just continue to use my phone, because when I do get around to updating my phone or upgrading my phone, I'll just be able to keep this one and record from this one per se, while not really filling up the new phone, because I won't have to worry about the new phone becoming full of videos, and it might make things a little bit easier on me, to be honest. But yeah, we're getting through these drones. As you can see, we've who knows how quickly we can get them all known oiled, but definitely trying not to mess around. The age-old Australian saying, not here to fuck spiders. Can't be any truer, because I'm definitely attempting to get this done at some sort of speed, so that it doesn't, because I feel like it's going to take me a fair amount of time to get these all per se done, and allow them time to dry, because once they dry, then I can start, obviously then we can go into the next phase of painting, which is putting the black rim on all of the drones, painting the guns. I've got polished silver. I might maybe run some black over parts of them. I've really got to figure out what I want to do per se, but I will start trying to mix it up and change what I do, maybe, so that there's a lot of variety. Couple of those drones, as I said, they're from very old sources. I may have bent the truth a little bit about talking about them. They were in a lot I brought. I never painted them, but they do look a lot cooler. I will admit to that. I won't lie about painting really well when I can't, when my method is very slap choppy, but I do know what was done with them. I do know how they were painted. They were definitely painted in that original Tau Orca with the red, and then, which was the old Tau, which everyone who remembers when Tau first came into being with Games Workshop and the way they did it, they were an orangey colour with black and a really vibrant red. That was their colour scheme. That's exactly how those drones were painted. But obviously I finished them off by doing the bases and whatnot because they'd never been based. So at least did some of the work. Not all of it, but some. But yeah, continuing getting this stuff known oiled, because then, as I said, like once the known oil dries and we can start working on the next part of the model, which is getting all of the colours down that I'm using, the black, the silvers, the lens colours, the reds on the drone, on like missile pods, and really trying to, you know, make them look mine. And then I can get in and paint obviously all of the bases, which again will do the similar thing you saw me do in a previous video, which was running over the bases with a blue Army Painter speed paint marker. I really, really fucking like them. I will be very honest. I was hesitant to say the least when I saw them. I thought they were a cool concept. I wanted one ASAP. I wanted more than one. I wanted the whole set. Since I have used them, I've found that concept is not just cool, it is freaking amazing. I definitely enjoy the concept. Think that it allows for some pretty cool things to be done, as well as some things to be done extremely quickly. We'll say that is the case, that there was one primed miniature I had, a drone. I painted it from start to what I would have called finished, where I was happy with the result in approximately 20 minutes using the paint markers, because I was able just to pick up a paint marker, shake the shit out of it, put the colour where I wanted it, don't have to clean the brush, put the lid back on. You know, you're not cleaning your brush, you're not doing anything else. Bang, lid goes on, next colour comes out and goes into where I want it. And, you know, I didn't have to really, the hardest thing I had to do was figure out what colour I wanted where and make sure that I didn't bleed colours accidentally. And as I said, literally within 20 minutes it was painted. As soon as I finish doing this guy, I'll actually get it out and show you. It is not a huge miniature, but this is the miniature I'm talking about. As you can see, there is multiple colours on it. Paint marker, paint marker, paint marker, paint marker, paint marker, paint marker. The brown down there is paint marker. That's paint marker there for a different colour. The same with the lens. So as you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paint marker colours on that miniature. And then obviously I did the base and whatnot. But yeah, super quick, super done, super happy. This model here, again, all paint marker, the silver, the handle, the colouring, all paint marker. Took a little bit longer, a couple of layers. I did it slowly and then I put a dirt base down. But yeah, they are very cool items. I definitely had some fun with them. But yeah, they are something that I'm quite glad came about, and I will continue to give them an absolute bashing, I guess. I'm going to say bashing because it's a term I'm using, we use for like usage. They're just going to cop a lot of usage. As you saw this morning, I painted either side of the clear see-through bases for the drones that I had, that were definitely painted by hand, primed by hand versus being primed with a rattle pack, because they are the original drones that I painted, the black ones. black and grey. They are the original drones that I painted, everything primed by hand with a primer. I think I might have used like maybe a grey or a white from memory and then painted black and blue over it. It's not really black and blue, it's more like black and Fenris and grey are the colours that I used. But yeah, the paint markers will definitely make painting these drones super easy, given how the colours go down, how easy they are to dry. You know, all those bases this morning are actually, as you saw, done with the paint marker. So, you know, it's a different kettle of fish, but also it's a kettle of fish that I don't mind. I'm happy with. I think that, yeah, I would like to get some more of the colours. I have all my colours written down. I think I have from count this morning when I was checking, because I was trying to figure out what colours I had. I have 13 of the paint markers. I don't know how many there is in the set completely. I definitely will be going into my friendly local game store in Guff, where you can get 10% off the regular retail price of Games Workshop paints, minis, accessories, books, cards. Definitely, there's a few locations in Victoria for Guff, Bendigo, Ballarat, Geelong. I think there's a couple of others and possibly one in Melbourne. But yeah, get in and see the boys and girls in at your friendly local Guff, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction with whatever help you need. And if you're lucky, you will find one of the community members in there, be it myself or anyone else that is a Warhammer player at any one of the local Guffs. And they'll be able to give you tips and tricks or have a chat to you about whatever you want to talk about in terms of painting. And that's what we do. We look after each other, look after one another. We enjoy our time together and we have fun, because that's what Warhammer is supposed to be about, fun. Alright, I am getting through these minis, but this video is getting very long and I have 7 to go. So I might actually pull the pin here, maybe. I'm just going to do them all. Just do them all, because then there'll be a nice big video to go up. Nice big long video to go up for everyone to watch. Yeah, but again, we all know 11th edition is coming. I'm anticipating some entertaining things to happen. Hopefully, I'm kind of confident that the change might be good, per se. I wasn't overly keen on the idea of changing editions already, but I do like the fact that they decided that no, they're not going to sting us for a whole new book, per se, with a whole new bunch of rules. It's going to be more of a flexibility where your current armies will survive until they get a new book, which is a little bit more pleasant, given that can really throw people off and put people off in terms of not wanting to be involved, because it does not make things fun when you've got to constantly, as we know, most new editions buy a new book, and especially with the way that the world is in terms of the economy at the moment, especially cost of living. I don't know about other countries, but I know in Australia that cost of living is really hitting the back pocket of everybody. So, Games Workshop releasing a new edition where it's going to cost more because it's what's going on at the moment. They're jacking the prices up because obviously it costs more to make things. Shareholders want more money, which, it's what shareholders do. They want money. That's what they're there for. That GW are there to make them money. They're not really there to make it fair for us. It's all about profit for them, which is fine because that's the way of the world. I think for a lot of people, they just wish Games Workshop would be more honest about that. Like, oh, we're putting this up because the cost of stuff costs more. No, you're putting it up because the shareholders want more money. Like that's the truth. We get that. We understand that. Don't treat us like idiots. Be honest. Be real. Tell us the truth. And you'll find that maybe people will be more susceptible to a lot of stuff that happens, rather than treating everyone like they're idiots. But anyway, I think the new edition, it's at their normal cycle time, but I just think with the way the world is at the moment, it's probably not a great time also for them to do the release, but hopefully, as we've kind of seen in their reveals, that it won't be such an aggressive release possibly. At least our books from a 10th will last through until our faction gets a new book, which also makes things a little cheaper. That you don't have to go out and buy a new book straight away. Hopefully the app will have all the rules updated in it for free and you won't have to go and buy the new rule book. I really think that they need to start looking at doing some sort of rules only style. You can purchase a code for the app which unlocks your new faction rules when the new rulebook comes out. For those that don't want to buy a whole new book, because they do, I know myself, I brought the Tower book and the Dark Angels book. I flicked through both of them, got the codes out of the back, whacked the code in the app, and then put the book down. Because what I needed was in the app, wasn't in the book. I didn't want, I've got the app, I don't want to carry the book around. I've looked at the book a few more times, mainly for, look at the pictures and the lore. But none of the key rules really, they're all in the app. And so I don't have to go to the book to find the rules I'm after when I can just find them in the app. So I think that Games Workshop really needs to have a bit of a think about how they go about the next cycle of releases, especially with 11th edition. And look, we know that in 3 years' time, roughly, we'll get 12th, which will probably be a massive overhaul of rules and whatnot. But hopefully between now and then, they've had a long, hard think about how they want to do some of this stuff, and they've possibly come up with a solution that works a little better in terms of getting the info from the book into the app, and whether or not they decide that, let's just go with the fact that codes are now a thing. We know that, video game developers do it. They release a CD key. You don't even have to buy a physical copy of a game. You can download them. Usually it's a little cheaper, depending. But that's also probably, how it should look. If we're just buying the codes for an army book, then, you know, to get those rules, we should be able to pay less. You know, it should be $30 for the, and this is talking about Australian, like I'm in Australia, it should be $30 for the code for the book. That's not outrageous. Like, that's a fair price. That's a fair price, I think, for that code, or for any code. And if, you know, people want the books, which they will, like, you still sell them at the price you sell them, because you got to pay for paper and materials and you know, the printing of the book and whatnot, you know, people to put the book together, the design team for the book. Like, you've still got to pay their wages. Just think you should offer, GW should definitely offer up the ability to just have codes for instance, for the codexes. So I don't have to buy. And, you know, if a codex code is $30, I'm more likely to buy multiple codes because I want to know the rules of other armies. Like, I have mates that have Necrons. I would love to know the rules and be able to look the rules up without, you know, having to ask him to show me the rules. I don't want to have to buy a whole book just to look up another army's rules. You're probably going to find that people will buy again, a friend of mine has, the same friend has multiple armies. They have Chaos Space, you know, Chaos Space Marines. I'm going to buy the code for the Chaos Space Marines data versus buying the book because it's cheaper. I don't need the whole book for the Chaos Space Marines. I just want to know what their army can do. I just want to be able to read the rules. And if that's a possibility, because I'm only paying $30 for a code, like, all of a sudden me buying 2 books for codes is going to turn into, you know, me buying 4 or 5 $30 codes for multiple armies that I don't own because I want to know what they do, because I play against them. And so in the long run, you're going to find that, I feel like you're going to find that GW are going to make more money. Like, don't force me to have to buy or find third-party ways to look rules up because you don't like that. And I get that. You've got an IP, you've got a business you're trying to run. Make it easier. Make it simpler. Make it easier for me to be able to access the rules of other armies. And you'll find that the people are buying multiple codes because it's easier. Hey, I can buy, you know, there's shitloads of factions. There's probably 20 or 30 factions. You know, I'm going to spend at $30 a pop. I'm more likely to spend money buying codex information for 20 or 30 chapters than I am if I'm having to fork out $80 a book. Like, the difference is massive. You know, 10 codexes, if that's what I want to have a look at, to be able to know what my friends play, so that when they play rules, I can understand the rules and be able to look them up. I'm not spending $800 on books just to be able to do it. But hell, if I spend $300 and I get 10 codex rules, books worth of rules for 10 different factions, like, in Australia, that's a bargain. Like, you're going to find that the players are going to do it. And hell, maybe having those rules for those armies, you might find that players will start to be interested in actually adding extra armies to their roster. Like, I would want to buy possibly other, because I've got a lot of Space Marines that aren't painted in my faction colours, and God, the colours that I used for my Dark Angels are purple, so God, they could be anything. They're purple and gold. Fuck, they could be bloody Emperor's Children. Because you allow us to paint however we feel. I could play Dark Angels that are Chaos Space Marines. Like, yeah, there might be some models that I have to change out to be able to run, but I've still got, you know, the ability to do that, to make that choice. Maybe I only need 1 or 2 things to be able to build a Chaos Space Marine army based off what I have, or a Fallen. Like, yeah, I really think Games Workshop needs to have a good hard look at how they're marketing the data and codex information for, because especially the rules for places like Australia, and I'm sure other overseas places would find it just as beneficial to be buying multiple. Like, as I said, if I'm spending $30 on a codex to get all of the data that my friend has on his army, to be able to look at it any time I like without pestering him, like, hell yeah. As I said, I'm down. Down with the funky business. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't anyone? Yuck. Anyway, that, dear friends, is that. I have managed to null oil all of my, excuse the, all of the drones, which definitely makes life a lot easier. I can go back. But yeah, we are done with that part, and I will pull the pin on the video there. I'm going to paint a little bit off camera, maybe, with some stuff that I'm looking at that I'm probably going to start trying to work on to finish off some bits and pieces. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'll see you next one. Bye for now.